This is Vader Reviews. We are honored that you would join us. The Christmas season is in full swing, and Sony Marvel Studios, along with director Jon Watts, just gave Spider-Man fans a gift that will have them climbing the walls with excitement. Once again, Tom Holland suits up as everyone's favorite web-slinging hero, and it looks like Peter Parker's money troubles are finally over, because this itsy-bitsy spider just made $121 million in the box office on Friday alone. And that kind of money is enough to make anyone's eyes bug out. Now, I rarely if ever recommend films on this channel, because I don't want to waste your hard-earned credits. That being said, this is a film you want to experience with an audience on the biggest screen possible. Whenever classic characters showed up, the place erupted like a volcano on Mustafar. People even got a charge out of seeing Jamie Foxx again. You could even say, the mood was electric. Sandman was never my favorite for obvious reasons, but it was still pretty wizard that they dusted off the old characters for one more adventure. As a lifelong Spider-Man fan, this movie gave me nearly everything I wanted to see. There are lots of spoilers on the web, so I would suggest seeing this film as soon as possible. But even if certain things have been spoiled for you through social media, if you love Spider-Man as much as I do, I think you will enjoy this film. Now, hang in there with me when I say, I was never really the biggest fan of the MCU in general, and I was most displeased with their version of Spider-Man in particular. I was honestly more excited to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2 than No Way Home, but I absolutely loved this movie. It is a superior Spider-Man to the other MCU films. Some may call it an amazing Spider-Man, a spectacular Spider-Man. Whether it's the ultimate Spider-Man depends greatly on your own point of view, but I can say for me personally, this was way better than Endgame. Now, I don't want to oversell this film, but it not only stakes the landing, it is in my top 3 Spider-Man films of all time. And if you've been a fan of the franchise since the Sam Raimi days, through the Andrew Garfield era, I can guarantee there are moments in this film that will make you feel like a youngling again. I have never gone to see a movie in theaters more than once, until now. I went back the very next day, and honestly, I'd be happy if I could go see it again. This film was clearly made with fans in mind. A rare thing in Hollywood these days. I can't get into specifics since this is a non-spoiler review, but all of the returning characters from the classic Spider-Man films were handled with respect. They all had character development and ample screen time. They even used their classic musical themes in the film score, and it was satisfying to see the care they put into this film. The attention to detail and established continuity was truly impressive, and I hope other franchises take notice and follow this line of thinking going forward. I genuinely felt happy and excited leaving the theater, and that hasn't happened to me in years. It almost felt like going back to happier, simpler times. The performances in this film are absolutely spectacular. Tom Holland and Marisa Tomei both give deeply emotional and heartfelt performances, while Willem, Dafoe, and Alfred Molina step into their old roles flawlessly. Many times, actors can't seem to replicate an iconic performance from years back, but these two feel like they just came back from a long coffee break on the set of the Raimi films. It's like they never left. Seeing them on screen once again, as the film score blasts their classic villain themes, gave me a wave of nostalgia I was not prepared for. Call me a sappy old Sith Lord, but it hit me right here. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were 2 of my favorite films when I was younger, and I spent literally hours on end playing the movie tie-in games on the GameCube. So seeing how well they brought these classic characters back to the big screen was truly refreshing indeed. Spider-Man was my favorite superhero as a youngling. I loved the films, watched the 90s cartoon, and played all of the video games. I even played the game for the Sega Genesis, not because it was fun, but because it was Spider-Man. Beyond the classic characters, one of the many things I loved about No Way Home is the fact that Tom Holland finally steps out of the shadow of Tony Stark and becomes the Spider-Man I always wanted him to be. Aunt May is finally a character, and not just a string of hot aunt jokes. And they even made me like the character of MJ. And that is a Christmas miracle indeed. And as for the returning classic Spider-Man characters, they didn't Last Jedi anyone. They didn't try to subvert our expectations. They just gave us Spider-Man that we've been wanting to see for years. And I, for the first time, can't wait to see where they take Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man in the future. In the end, Spider-Man No Way Home is a heartfelt and exciting film that not only serves as a love letter to longtime Spider-Man fans, it simultaneously repairs every complaint I had with the MCU version of the character, and propels the franchise forward in a way that made me feel like a youngling again. So, for its spectacular action set pieces, amazing film score, superior storyline, and ultimate respect for the returning classic characters and the fans, I give this film 5 out of 5 Death Stars. Spider-Man No Way Home is impressive. Most impressive. This week's video was brought to you by the generosity of Hero of the Empire. I'm just happy to be a stormtrooper, Adam Jordan. You are a credit to the Empire, my friend, and we thank you. If you would like to support what we're doing here, donate to our PayPal today so we can continue to bring you weekly videos. A link is in the description. And if you're new here, join the Empire today by subscribing. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And if you've already seen Spider-Man No Way Home, don't spoil it for anyone. Remember, knowledge is power, and with great power comes great responsibility. This has been Vader Reviews. Until next time, Merry Christmas.